The most absolute divinity has intervened in our ordinariness. A talk by Darthley John, May the 8th, 1977, from God is not a gentleman, and I am that one. Because of your resistance, you must investigate the tour of spiritual possibilities, and you will discover in the midst of that discipline that nothing is gained, that you need not go through it. Your experience will be superficial. You know, a little bit of listening to the heartbeat. It will be very superficial for you, and it will be very brief. But you must pass through it because it is the classical distraction. You will have to experience these spiritual possibilities before you will begin to confess the grace of God. I spent a long time encountering these possibilities. Devotee. You were saying earlier that it is not at all necessary for us to experience the whole theatre of events that marked your spiritual adventure. Alidar. Not the slightest bit, not the slightest portion of it is necessary. As long as you persist in your egoic fascination with experience, you must investigate such events. But what I am telling you is that all those who have ever seen me are relieved of the knot of ignorance, have only the grace of God in their disposition. That is their destiny. None of you need describe the history that I have described. None of what appears in the Knee of Listening and my other books is necessary for you. Not even the mighty and muscular transitions described in the Paradox of Instruction. It will all be superficial for you. I am sorry that this destiny does not satisfy you egoically. You will not have the satisfaction of passing through these stages by heroic effort, realizing the divine in every case. Your passage through these stages will be the most superficial kind of glass for all of you, because the knot that is the support of the mighty transformation has already been undone in your contemplation of me. Only when you have passed through these stages will you begin to recognize the grace that is active in your life. That is your limitation, but it is mediocre. Only then will you begin to acknowledge me. Until then, you will treat me like a freak, really. You cannot possibly contemplate my grace, and you will not acknowledge it. So I would like for it all to occur very quickly. All of the garbage that you accumulate in this exhaustive self-indulgence will be mine to purify, but I do not mind. Others have served me in the same way, not in themselves, but as instruments of God. I am a confession to you that there is God, and God is not what you think. There is no intentional creator. You have intentionally created your life, you and all your supporters. You do not realize it, but you are in league with all kinds of mediocre things, mediocre beings, which you would not ordinarily see except in visions. If you saw them, you would think that you were realized and sublime, but these beings are nothing, absolutely nothing. What you require is the intervention into human time of the absolute divinity, and I am that. This is true. I don't know why it happens. It is remarkable, truly. I have no credentials and no memory, absolutely none. I have always enjoyed this God consciousness. It has manipulated my life, and it has been terrible. I don't appreciate it, really. All the reluctance of devotees enters into my digestion. It is very difficult, and I don't think that I will be rewarded for it. But I have always been happy and very grateful for this. In spite of all the torment of an ordinary lifetime, from the time I was born, it has been very clear to me that I am all-pervading, that I have transcended this existence, that all beings who animate themselves in time and space are my own form. It is the most naive realization, but it is completely clear to me. Somehow, in this time and place, I represent the God influence, and that is terrible. I cannot account for it. In past times, no one could account for it. No one has ever accounted for it. Somewhere, sometime or other, this being or another is able to confess that God has intervened in the midst of our mortality. Apart from that, we are disgusting, truly. That is it. Someone, in some time and place, is able to confess God with absolute certainty, and not just in words, but in the city, the overwhelming power of that presence. He or she is able to manifest God bodily. Such a being becomes useful to others. That has happened here, and you are witness to it. Isn't that really wonderful? Devotees, it certainly is. Adidar. That is really wonderful. I am telling you the truth. It is wonderful. It is true. And it is ridiculous and obscene as at any other time. It will be equally forgotten 1,000 or 2,000 years from now. But somehow or other, it has happened here in this occasion of our meeting. It is unexplainable, completely unexplainable, because we are all ordinary people. I am an ordinary person. I am completely ordinary, yet the most absolute divinity has intervened in our ordinariness. That is really wonderful. It relieves us of our striving and mortality. That is true. A handful of you, an obscene little fragment of humanity, when you have finally become convinced of it, will become an instrument for many thousands. Somehow or other, this divinity is responsible for this room, this stupid room. It has created all of this. It is us. It is absolutely speakable in the person of someone, not for the sake of that one, because that one must suffer it, but it is speakable for everyone who makes contact with that one. That is really ridiculously wonderful, but it has really happened in our time and place. It is as marvelous to me as it will be to you, when it becomes obvious, when it is really wonderful. All of the insane and idiotic ordinariness that my life represents has always been happy, always been that. Not just happy in some ridiculous psychological sense, but overwhelmed by God, who is not speakable, who is only realized by us beyond knowledge in divine ignorance. You see how pristine this communication is. It is true that in any moment we do not know what a single thing is. Not a single thing, nothing. How would you have recognized it? It would not have occurred to you. Even in our inmost depth, we do not know what a single thing is. Not a single thing, nothing. It's true, isn't it? Not a single thing. Not a single thing, nothing. We can't account for anything. Not anything. You know what I mean? Not anything. Not anything. Master Dar laughs. Maybe it doesn't impress you, but through all of this history that I have described to you, this has always been obvious to me. I have always been a ridiculous person, an exaggerated being. Life has always been humorous to me. There is no accounting for it, no logic, no sublimity, no vision. I have had endless visions, but no vision transcends our divine ignorance. Someday, maybe even tonight, I am going to die, and when I die, you will look out the window and see the morning star rising, and you will know that I am serious. That is the trouble. That is why people like me must be born and live through the whole circle of spiritual life and demonstrate it to people like you. You are resistant and you defy the truth with your ordinariness until you receive some incredible demonstration. Then all of a sudden you are full of faith. I know that there is a place beyond time and space where I am rested for a moment because I must take up this task again. It is beautiful. just like it was when I was born. I was born in primeval grace, because there was no mind, yet no experience, no women, no philosophy, just absolute relief. Only that grace has permitted me to live this life. I haven't a fraction of the capacity that you have for an ordinary life. I never could have lived it, not a fraction of it, as you all live, even now, as you all live it, even now. I am happy every day, capital H, happy, without a single symbol to console me. Da.